What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Web Buzz Podcast, the podcast with a really unique name, but a really clear mission to talk about all the buzz happening on the web. I'm your host, Sean Tiberio, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host and the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Google Nader, Roger Valdez. What's going on, my man?
Going good, man. Going good. Just another day. Seasons are changing, so I'm starting to wear my sweater. The hoodie's kind of
I wish
popping
I
out
could
now.
say the same. I wish I could say the same. I think we're going to be in the 90s again
Oh,
today.
geez, no. We've been getting a lot of rain, and it's been nice and cool. It's a nice change, though.
Makes you miss the island?
I always miss the islands, man. You know that.
Awesome. Well, we've got a amazing episode in store here today. We got something really big. I know a couple weeks ago we talked a little bit about the major update, big algorithm update that Google was going through. Guess what, folks? Facebook got its own trick up its sleeve. I've heard some people call it the Zuck slap. Where Zuck's giving the old slap on some hands to some folks, but we're going to be breaking it down today. What's going on? What's this big change with Facebook? How's it going to impact? It really does have a strong impact in the real estate space when it comes to advertising and marketing and looking for those motivated sellers on the Facebook platform, where we know that is a place that they like to hang out based on demographics. So with that being said, we're going to dive right into today's show. All right. Well, to get started, I want to get your take first on why, right? Why do you think between Google, now we're seeing it on Facebook, and I bet we're going to see it across some other places. Why do you think there's such a push for some of these massive changes, updates, whatever you want to use the word of, right? Yeah. But what's your take? Why do you feel like these platforms are making these changes?
Yeah, absolutely. It comes down to just improvement of the information that they're delivering to their client, their business as well. So that's one of the things that we have to first understand. We always look at it as, Facebook and Google, and they're the platforms where we go to market, but we forget that they're a business as well. And think about it. Let's just use Google as an example. If you did a search and for best Mexican restaurant in a certain location, and you were getting back really bad results, really bad recommendations from Google, you probably go to Bing or Yahoo, right? You keep searching for the right platform or resource that would give you the best information. So these major updates that we're seeing, even though it stirs up a little bit of the marketing world, right? Because it does change our strategies, it just make us aware of how we approach things. At the end of the day, all they're doing is trying to improve the information that they're providing their users. Okay, so that's kind of to the core.
100% agree, and I'd echo the user experience piece, right? When I'm looking at social media, obviously Google's a big behemoth, and there really isn't anybody that truly competes. Yeah, there's Yahoo, yeah, there's Bing, but I bet if we actually pulled data, the percentage of user on Google versus Bing or Yahoo, major difference, right? But in the social world, I think the platforms are a little tighter knit. Get rid of maybe LinkedIn. LinkedIn's kind of it's got its own unique demographic, in my opinion, over there. But when we look at Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, probably pretty competitive as far as the number of active profiles, the amount of time somebody spends on those platforms, in a given time period, day, week, month, year, whatever we want to look at it from. And that's why I think that some of these changes are really impacting, is because of that user experience. We spend a lot of time on social media, and if it's not a good experience, we're going to stop. We're going to go somewhere else. And the platform doesn't want to see that. So the big change that's really come down, it impacts what they call their special ad audience. And I'm going to break that down here in a second, what that really means. But I want to back up here for a second and this really is coming not just because Facebook said, "Hey, I want to make this change." It's an agreement that actually got put in place. It's been discussed for a little while. Roger and I were talking about it before the show. I actually got an email from Facebook around this topic a couple weeks back. But it HUD, right? HUD, who kind of manages the housing, they felt like Facebook's data, it was being used in an inappropriate way. I don't even want to use the word inappropriate. It was just being used in a way that they didn't feel was a good experience for the consumers out there, people looking to buy homes, people to sell homes in this particular case, right? And this change isn't just on the real estate side. It's just HUD got involved on this. Then there's also some stuff going on from employment and also from credit on there. But our show here, we focus heavily on the real estate space, so I'm going to keep it right around there. And cut me off whenever you want to, Roger, because I got a notepad full.
Yeah, no, I
notes.
know you had some stuff there that we wanted to go through. That's very important. So at the end of the day, if you're doing any type of marketing on Facebook, you definitely want to listen to this and make sure that you take notes and you take action. At the end of this podcast, you want to kind of take those notes, and definitely we're going to give some things that you're going to have to do to protect yourself from potentially getting into some kind of restriction with Facebook. So this is actually some pretty important stuff. But just going back one step back, Sean, just to kind of really dial in that information or that data that's being used on these platforms with what you said about Facebook and talking with or having conversation with HUD and coming up with an agreement. And in any industry, in any platform, when you have too much power, it starts, they start kind of looking at things like, hey, that's way too targeted, right? That's way too targeted. We see that in politics all the time. So this is just one of those things that there was way too much information for us, the general public, to target that type of audience. And that's not how Facebook or HUD looked at how that data should be used. And that's why they're making these changes.
Absolutely. So what do I mean by special ad audience? This actually caught me off guard a while back when they changed. And I forget, I was doing a boosted post or running and that I should emphasize that this affects boosted posts and paid advertising. Anytime that we're putting any money behind something to increase its reach, they changed this a while back. And really all the special ad audiences, if you remember, Facebook back in the day had what they called the lookalike audience. You could create audiences, you could create kind of the avatar, so to say, based on the people on the platform that Facebook said looks very similar to this audience over here. So if I put a bunch of parameters in there, 18 to 25-year-old males that live in, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia, so to say, I could then, back previous to all of this, I could tell Facebook, hey, and anybody that looks like this, that fits this criteria. That's what they mean by the special ad audience. And this changed when they went to the special ad categories, going back to what you just said in politics. Politics kind of squeezed some of this initially because there was way too much power in the targeting effect there, exactly, which brought these special ad categories. Real estate, we have to kind of fall suit into that as well so that we're not discriminating. And when they did that, they spun out this new ad audience where it's, special ad audience. But at the end of the day, it really is just very similar to that lookalike audience in the past. And the other impact that this is having, you guys know we like to bring all the juice to the surface on some of these quote unquote outdated guru teachings. They used to say, hey, go get this list from wherever, right? Maybe it's download your LinkedIn contact list. Go buy a list of information. If you have email addresses on somebody, load that into Facebook and it can kind of match and find their profiles and all that. Well, that's going to be a no-go going forward.
There are some influencers out there that their entire business model revolves around this. This Correct. Is the absolute big money maker course, right? Which is it's now going out the window. So this is what kind of makes a big difference and why we're jumping on right away to make sure that we kind of get that information in your hands and you start making adjustments.
Absolutely. Okay. I want to go into let's go into the highlights or the main things to watch out for first, and then I want to shift because I don't want this to sound like it's all bad. Doomsday. Oh shit, here comes the Facebook crush, and we joke about it if Facebook went away tomorrow. Advertising on Facebook is not going away. Just there's some positives actually that are going to come from this. But as Roger alluded to earlier, there's some key things to pay attention to, and if you don't watch out by these dates, you're going to be like some of the times we get these emails from our clients. Facebook did this or did that, and I can't get in touch with Facebook. And good luck, because even we don't know how to easily get in touch with them. But if you guys are listening to this or watching this live replay, whatever the case, October 12th, 2022. October 12th, 2022. That's coming up around the corner. Today's the 6th. We're talking 6 days from today. That is an important date. And here's why. If you don't make changes, if you don't get rid of any special ad audiences that you already have, change the audience of any boosted posts, paid ads that you're running on the Facebook platform, and this goes over on Instagram as well. If you don't make that change by October 12th, Facebook is going to immediately pause those ads, those posts, anything going against these special ad audiences. They're going to pause it. And you could, they haven't put anything out to say this is for sure, but I can assume that you're going to get the Zuck slap at that point. Your account's going to get some bad standings, and good luck, because now you're going to have to do the legwork to get in touch with them, apologize, and try to get Facebook to give you a good standing back. So
yeah, you
was that
kind of have to. Yeah, some of the stuff that you have to do, Sean, because Sean just mentioned October 12th, right? So don't wait for October 12th, guys. I would put it on my calendar if you're dragging your feet or you want to make sure that you get alerted on your side, right? Put it for October 11th. So you better make all those changes by October 11th. That way you're prepped for October 12th. But that's one recommendation that I would do, is like, whatever you're going to do, either, if you're going to make some changes or pause, I'm sure, Sean, we're going to go into that right now, but you need to make those changes by probably the 11th would be the latest.
Absolutely. If you can't make the change by then, I would encourage you to just at least pause them, because the penalty is going to come if you're still trying to run them. Now, one thing that Facebook's already doing, you can't create any new special ad audiences. I even tried earlier today before this show. I jumped in and just tried something just to see if it won't allow new. But if you have existing ones and they're running, it's going to allow it to run, and they're giving you until the 12th to make a change to that audience, make a change to some of those, the back end settings to become more compliant now. And if you can't make it by then, minimum, at least pause the ad so it's not trying to run anymore, so that you don't get yourself in trouble. Anything else on that?
Nope, we're good.
Okay. So why is this important? Why is this, in my opinion, important for you guys to be considering? Where I see the biggest impact, putting my marketing hat on, if I could go to my board back here and draw, I draw this big funnel, and we have 3 distinct levels of the funnel. We talk a lot about top end funnel. That's a lot of the stuff that Roger gets deep into, the SEO, some of the what I call the awareness phase, right? The initial discovery. That's all top of funnel, easy kind of lead magnets, that kind of stuff's all your top of funnel. Where this lookalike audience or this special group really came in was when we got people into the middle and bottom parts of our funnel. If I have customer base, right, I could take that customer base and say, hey, these are people I work with. There's a trend here. There's demographics that are similar. There's psychographics that are similar. Right? There's hobbies. There's interests. There's something. And I'm already working with these people. So I want my middle and bottom tier of my funnel marketing to target more of these type of people. And this is where the biggest impact is going to come, is in that middle piece. It's not going to, in my opinion, it's not going to impact the top end, because the top end, hey, I'm putting the big fishing net out. I'm just trying to I used to, when I spoke a lot on stage, I used to tell this story like Deadliest Catch, right? When they go out at the start of the season, they set pods all over the place in a wide area to try to find where are they actually getting some good bites. And then they go and they saturate it. Well, that was the same here. It's like, okay, these people love this. Cool. Now I want to saturate this with more people just like this. So it's going to be important to really think through some of that middle tier and bottom tier marketing. And I've got some tips, and I'm sure Roger's got some stuff on that. But anything that you have that you want to add on this piece right here?
The only thing I'll look at, I'll add here is basically what you just kind of second what you just said there. It's a broad audience. So top of funnel, think of it, it's that broad audience. You're trying to capture everything and everyone that's somehow either interested or not interested or maybe, right? So there's when we come from an SEO standpoint, is every single type of keyword that's associated with trying to sell your house, right? It could be a retail buyer as well that doesn't associate with the real estate investor, right? But we capture everybody, and from there we kind of warm them up in the middle. What we're about to get in there. So this top of funnel stuff is great, but what's really going to get impacted, to Sean's point, is that middle bottom as we start getting, which is going to really affect, or not affect, but it's really going to impact how you market in the middle and bottom of funnel.
I was going to go somewhere, but I'm going to hold that here for a second. The other big thing that I'm going to kind of add here, why I see this as important, is anytime there's major shakeups like this or major changes, in my opinion, I see it as a massive opportunity. And here's why. A lot of people are not going to pay attention to this. They're going to overlook it. They're not going to think it's anything serious. And we're going to see a lot of people end up with the Zuck slap, right? So, in my opinion, major change. We saw this with the Google update, the helpful content update. People got hurt, right? They initially got the slap, but those that paid attention to it were able to just kind of claw their way right back to the top, get back up in there. Everything's all good because competition thins out.
Yep.
So that would be the other thing that I'd say is really important here is competition's about to get a little less if you actually pay attention.
Oh yeah, quite a bit. To your point, Sean, it's going to get really low because a lot of people aren't going to see this coming. I mean, some of these emails get lost in spam and, just buried on your regular day, right? If you're not looking at any type of podcast or anything like this that's talking about these topics, you're going to miss it. And next thing you know, you're going to be restricted. Basically, you're going to possibly get the Zuck slap, as Sean's stating there. But that definitely is going to open up some opportunities. So every time we see this, we get excited to jump on and do a podcast on this or put some content out on some of these updates that are happening. Because all that is, every time this happens, is an opportunity. Anytime there's a shakeup like this, anywhere. Again, I always like to look at it in a real world situation. Anytime there's some kind of catastrophe, something happening, there's always an opportunity to help, to do something, right? To do something better. And in this case, as this kind of gets shaken up, to Sean's point, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be left questioning what happened. Well, that's the opportunity. You got to come in, make your adjustments early so you can kind of win those spots.
100%. Why do you see this as good? I've got some stuff here, but I'm curious your take here. Why do you see this as a good thing?
Yeah. So the good thing we basically kind of touched on right now, there's a number. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, and you have that list as well right there on your end, but I'll kind of throw in a couple things here. So the number one thing is it's gonna go ahead and lower the competition. That's just good for you, the marketer. That's not good overall, but for you, the marketer, is going to lower the competition, right? So that's number one. Number two that I see, it's going to put some pressure on anybody that's marketing on Facebook. And we're just saying on Facebook because that's what we're dealing with today. Just a month ago, we're dealing with Google. So we're saying what's happening over there. But with Facebook right now, it's going to force us to adjust our marketing, how we approach it, because marketing at the end of the day is delivering a message, right? You got to deliver a message at the right time at the right place, right? So what you're trying to do here is you're going to have to run some testing here. Going back to the drawing board, going back to this whiteboard behind me.
My list.
but um, but yeah, that's going to kind of force us to kind of go back to our skill set and really dial in what's going on. Facebook for a long time made it very, very simple. I remember when these came out, these lookalike audiences, and people were running these ads, and I mean, results were great. I know as more people got involved, again, the competition, more people got involved. It got a little harder because there's more competition. In this case, now they're taking them away. Now we got to go back. We're taking some steps back, but not really. I don't see it as taking a step back. Again, this is part of the good thing that I see about this. This is just going to force us to hone in our skills to actually deliver a good message to the audience that's looking for our service.
Yeah, let's go deeper on that right there. The more testing, because that's why I was laughing. Are you looking at my notes? Because I had number one, competition going away. Number two, testing is the way that I wrote it. And it's the reason I'm saying testing is going to be massive is because you're going to have to get a little bit more creative in the way that you get that message out, because we can't pinpoint it so easily anymore based on settings, right? So testing goes to, in my opinion, it goes to copy, image, right? The quality of that. How on point is that? How on point is the copy? And I wrote something down here. I actually wrote it down in the in my last section, things to consider, but I'll pull it up right now. I was laughing when I was reading a little bit more about this, because copy, you used to be able to use settings, dial in the audience, and then use wide open copy like get your dwell score.
Right.
Or get your home value. Or what's your home worth today? But if I was only placing that in front of the people that I kind of knew were the right audience, I could get away with that. This goes away. It's really going to make it creative again on the copy, the image side, and the ones that are going to succeed and do well are the ones that are going to be able to get creative, right? I immediately thought of some of our clients, Jake and Marie, and they're all about the military side. They can't just target military anymore, right? But they are very creative in what they've been doing to really dial that messaging in. So it wouldn't matter who sees it. The messaging is going to be the key crucial part. And that's where the testing comes, because messaging is so finicky. It's not something you can just do one time, put it out and think that it works. You really have to, I mean, sometimes as simple as changing one word could change the complete result. So test, which is why I say this is a good thing. The other one that I wrote down was data. Data is going to become more important than ever, which in my opinion is good. It's what we base everything that we do with REI Toolbox with our clients. It's all data driven, right?
Exactly.
No emotion anymore on it. And then the final one that I put down, and I'll kick it back to you because I know you're going to light up on this one. I personally think, this is my prediction, that this change is going to put a larger emphasis on SEO and Google paid ads.
Absolutely.
Because we can target a little bit better.
Yep. No, I have to kind of go with you on that. One of the things that you just mentioned there with using one of our clients that actually target the military community, right? Just to use that as an example, you can be targeting anybody, but they target the military community. So this lookalike audience, special ads audience type category that's going away, made it very simple to target your ideal client, your ideal avatar. And now that it's going away, it's going to, like I said before, it's going to force you to dial in your message. But keep in mind, guys, it might sound scary, what Sean is saying, where, hey, you got to test, right? You got to go out there and test. But in reality, if you do this early, you're going to be ahead of the game, because we just mentioned it before, the competition is going to go down. So the testing, if you do it now, it's going to be a lot easier for you to get into those positions, start winning some of these leads that are in there, right? So if, say, everybody did it, everybody that's using this particular platform and this function, right? Facebook and special ads audiences, if everybody knew about it and everybody made the change at the same time, it would be really hard. But that's not the case. And that's why it's so exciting, because when this happens, the majority of people that are running these ads are the ones that are going to get caught, not like getting restricted, getting in trouble, getting those things. There's going to be a small percentage, funny enough, but there's going to be a small percentage that actually take action and run these tests. Those are the people that we're going to see win right out of the gate. So keep that in mind. The other thing, Sean, that I want to point out that you touch on is both SEO and Google Ads, right? How does this affect that particular situation? So let's talk just Google Ads real quick. We have a Google Ads team on for our company. We do that all the time. We look at stuff. I mean, this has been a conversation as a couple weeks ago, but now as of today, it gets more and more important. But yeah, some people are going to get restricted. They're no longer going to be able to run the ads on Facebook for now till they figure it out, which means they're going to jump to the next best thing, which is Google. That's where I see it. It's like, what do I do now? Right. So that's where things kind of start shifting around and people start looking for other ways to market and to drive leads. Now, on the SEO side, Sean hit it nail on the head big time. Why? If you're going to be forced to dial in your message and get very specific to use copy that's very specific to your audience, what do you think SEO is? That's exactly what it is.
Ding, ding,
So
ding.
it's now going towards that message, right? That exact what we call it intention, the document intention, your content intention. Google looks at that a lot in regards to looking for credible brands, credible copy, credible articles, right? What is the intention of the actual article? What is it? What is it saying? Who is it for? Is this article trying to just what's called game the system, or is it actually trying to provide value? So that's what I think this whole thing is pushing us to do. We are now going to have to provide value. You can't get around just clicking a special button, right? Silver bullet, and expecting for Google to do all your work, or Facebook to do all your work. Now we got to put in the work.
And the reason I'm going to double down and say that SEO and Google Ads, think about who Google owns. That's the second largest beast behind them, YouTube.
Yep.
YouTube is really, there's the organic strategy on YouTube, SEO focused, search result focused. It is a search engine. But from an ad standpoint, I can almost pull off this look-alike audience if I really study my avatar really well, because I can zero in and target currently, and we'll see if that ever changes. Maybe I shouldn't say it out loud. They'll hear it and change it on us, but I can at least say,
all of us, John.
hey, I know Roger likes to watch these channels, and Roger's my ideal audience. So I want to put my ads on these channels, which is a way to special ad audience, right? Really dial in on there, and we kind of get that same effect that we had in the past. So that's why I see the competition's probably going to rise more on the Google, YouTube kind of side of the house. Facebook, it's not going to go away. It's still a viable piece. Personally, I think the retargeting campaigns on Facebook and Instagram are going to become more and more popular, right? Got to get that initial traffic coming in over on more organic or from a paid standpoint on other platforms such as Yahoo or Google, YouTube, that kind of stuff. And then retargeting over on the social side, I think that's where we'll see a very viable use of Facebook, Instagram type ads going forward. But I still don't think that the cold ad audience is going to go away on Facebook. I think that if you really put the effort into testing, test, measure, try different things, find what works, dial in the imagery, dial in the ad copy, dial in the ad content, you're still going to get a really solid result. It's just going to be a lot more work. That's it on there. So before I go into some things to wrap us up and kind of my last thoughts, I called it things to consider. Anything you want to add? Yeah,
absolutely. So I just want to kind of plug in the history always repeats itself, right? And what we have to learn is learn from history. So we started this whole digital marketing era, how we market our brands and our companies and how we acquire clients early on, right? It's just like in the 90s going into 2000. Now we're, 2022, and things have dramatically changed. The platforms have changed. There's new platforms. Other ones have gone away. But we started, figuring it out. Then we figured it out. Then we got really spammy, right? We figured out how to game the systems, and we got really spammy. And then we got some more tools that forced us to clean that up a little bit, right? But it dialed in our message a little bit. Then we figured it out how to game the system, and we got spammy again. And then now we're going to a point where it's forcing us to dial in our system. So what we're seeing every time we've done this, every time the evolution has happened, there's a blend of the different strategies is what we've learned. And if you look closely, a lot of the good marketers, you'll notice that there's a time and a place for all these strategies and tools that have been presented to us through all this different digital era, right? So you have to look at it too. Don't look at it as just one-sided. You got to look at everything around you and what's available to you, because Facebook isn't the only platform, and Facebook ads, the lookalike audience is not the only tool. there's many, many ways to run this stuff. So I wouldn't be scared. I would be actually happy, right? I'd be excited to see what's next. Sean mentioned something about, how we're going to be running certain types of marketing moving forward, like retargeting, using it with the blend of an old school, just direct mail, right? So just blending that super, super powerful, which was something that we started just doing with our list and direct mail. And now when you blend it with something digital and newer, right, with some kind of retargeting ad, man, how powerful is that? So anyway, I'll kind of leave it at that, because it is something that just watch it. It's fun to watch. It's awesome, because now we're just getting better and better at offering basically our services and product to the right people.
100%. And I'm gonna leave you guys with a few things to consider here. One, I already said. Actually, two of these I've already said. Number one is copy is going to be more important than anything. So if you're going to be doing any kind of advertising, I've been saying this for a long time anyway. Copy drives everything. I preach this with our clients. There's a process that they go through, right? They is the prospect, in this case, sellers, right? There's a process that they go through from being not ready to ready, and you can't put a message in front of somebody that's almost ready and treat them like they're not ready, and vice versa. They're not ready, and you're over here, trying to get them married right out of the gate. So copy, I think, is going to be more important than anything, because you can't target them based on where they're at in that process. The second one is data. We know a lot of people that they quote unquote are doing marketing, but they have no data behind it. They can't tell us anything about their marketing. How many pieces they put out, how many different things, how many visitors have they had, what's their conversion rates, all this kind of stuff. Data, more important than anything anymore. And the other one that I'm going to leave you guys with here is frequency. Frequency. Now more than ever, I think the frequent changes of your message, of your ads, of your marketing material, and stop saying the same thing over and over again every single time the exact same way. That's really going to be a major impact. Because to what you just said, Roger, somebody's going to get creative. They're going to think they found a loophole, or they're going to try to figure something out, and they're just going to set it and forget it. And guess what? It's going to work for a little while, right? It's going to have its little spike of result, but then it's going to flatten out. It's going to bottom. It's going to go completely away. So I think frequency of changing your copy, your imagery, paying attention to what's actually in that copy, and really letting the data do the driving for you. And that's something that we eat, sleep, drink over here at REI Toolbox with our clients. Data drives every decision that we make.
Absolutely.
Anything you want to leave everybody with? Any final words of wisdom, Google Nader?
Yes, these actual words are extremely important. I think out of this podcast is go either update your ads on Facebook or pause them if you are running these type of ads.
Yeah, and not just paid ads, boosted posts are another one. So if you're running anything that you got any kind of money behind, October 12th, don't let that date slip by. Get it changed, get it paused, do something by October 12th. With that, folks, We'll be back next week. We actually have an awesome guest coming on the show next week. I'm excited for that. It's one of our clients. It's been around for quite some time. I always love getting her on and talking. She's in a very unique niche, sub niche of the real estate world. But we're going to be breaking down what all's been going on in her business and how her focus, her changing her focus, getting more into this evergreen style kind of ideal avatar focused marketing versus the shotgun approach of just throwing everything out there, how it's really impacted her. So I'm excited for that. But as we say every single week, until we see you guys around on another Web Buzz podcast, here's to your success.